Oh no, there's a problem with that. Oh no, you're not allowed to say that. Nobody wasn't thinking about that. Those are old videos. Nobody. I know I didn't do anything wrong. If I would have did something wrong, then it's like I feel like one would think if a person did something wrong, one would. So I'm like, I don't want to like do this to Disney. Like right before I'm getting ready to go, Wreck-It Ralph. He's going by the name on YouTube, Main.
Show everything. You can't just show some things. You gotta show it all.
Tmossboss, a man, a monster, an alien. Such a rare creature that is born once in a millennia, must be studied extensively and picked apart, piece by piece. But of course, we must go all the way to the beginning and see what exactly changed in this specimen, and what effect it had on the subjects around.
What's up, guys?
Believe it or not, he started uploading videos of his dog chasing a laser. Not really sure how this adds anything. It came across as a surprise to me, that's all really. He also did gameplay videos, but they were so basic that any 10-year-old could easily replicate them. Made some remixes. Made some videos of his new dog. So far, pretty harmless. Made some more remixes. And he did the cinnamon challenge. Not sure how relevant it was 6 years ago, but whatever. Still pretty tame. Then came his Nothing Against You series, which you could say was the trigger point. The series was him basically talking about different subjects he had opinions on, such as Call of Duty and the Rebecca Black. There's one video where he talks about Facebook photos, and I could barely hear him over the TV.
I would say I got nothing against you, but I got something against this because it kind of makes me mad every time I go.
Is this too loud? I'm sorry! Is this too loud? Let me turn this up more! Huh? Is that loud enough? Huh?
My favorite one of the series is the one where he talks about his school, where he complains about the most basic daily activities that are so minor it isn't really even worth talking about.
Kids want to be walking slow in front of you. I got a class to go to, and it's like every time I try to be going around, you got kids coming this way, and then you got kids coming this way, and it's like
Really? A bunch of people walking around in a school? Well, I never would have guessed. There's his sister. Him and his sister have a seizure. Makes more crap remixes.
You wanna know where they play this song?
Where would they play it?
You know those mental hospitals?
Yeah.
Then those like really, and those white rooms that has all the padding.
Yeah.
Then they put you in a shirt jacket and put you in there. This sounds like the music that person would listen to in there. And it's just, I mean, it'd probably be more white noise. But I feel like this would be... I really hope this guy actually never becomes a musician. Listen, this is the type of music they play in hell. This is the mental hospital shit.
This is
my hell.
This is the music you ride down on the elevator to hell.
It is! Now that I think about it, it absolutely is that. On the elevator down to hell. Alright. This is what's gonna be playing. All these beats that don't belong together, that aren't the same beats per minute, the same BPM. They just put it all together. No melody or anything. He didn't think about it. He just put as much shit into this song as possible. Or that's just the songs in general. This one, he tried to put as many drum beats into a song as possible, it's like as minimal, but it sounds like there's a lot. It sounds like a demo. It's not an official song. Okay, now I have more to rip into for this. Now I'm starting to realize this whole thing, this song that he apparently made, electronic drum beat, what he did was went up to a drum set at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
He took out his phone, and it was the electronic drum set at the Guitar Center, right? Like the electronic drum sets over there by the side, whatever it's called, you don't know.
I know.
But like, he went over there to test one of them out.
Right.
He put his phone up to the speaker. Then he started just hitting it very lightly or hard. Like each fucking set of drums just to get a sample. Then that's what he came up with. That's exactly what he came up with. I don't think I could rip any harder into this song, but I know for sure I ripped harder into his other songs.
Makes a rejected Arkham Asylum game over screen for some reason.
Bro, he just slammed you on the issue.
I mean, look at me!
Then, we finally hit the mark. I think all of you know by now how I feel about reaction videos.
Ma'am, one man with beard.
And there's no need to say what's already been said, so instead let's delve into the seething cesspit of reaction content Tmossboss has produced. Much like his high school crush Jinx, Mr. Moss seems to have gone to the same approach of Jinx, and that's doing absolutely nothing. Sure, he burps, maybe the occasional fart, sometimes the laundry in the background takes a step closer to him. But in all fairness, what exactly makes him so sure of himself that his videos are fair use? Just because the rules don't clearly state you can't make reaction videos. Many individuals have already countered that argument with good responses, but apparently they don't matter, because Mr. Moss is too busy looking at the subscription bar, laughing at his opponents for having a smaller sub count, and dare to challenge him. As if having a higher sub count makes you an untouchable god among men. In a lot of his arguments, he points to his most viewed videos, which aren't even worth seeing because the majority of them are reaction videos about popular trailers anyone can piggyback off of.
Now, I know I don't usually react to video game trailers and things.
Unless it's for that sweet, sweet revenue.
The thing is, Mr. Moss has kind of sort of talent.
Do my research.
He makes Rockstar editor videos that aren't really my thing, but I can see other people enjoying them. And he even makes some good points here and there, like his Black People Can Be Racist video. But the real tragedy is that he's just not bright enough to focus on his strengths, and keeps abusing his weaknesses.
On fire.
It wasn't long until Mr. Moss caught wind of the reactionist controversy that had been going on, so we thought, hey, why don't I put my thoughts out there? Surely someone as black and murky as me can do it. I mean, after all, 90% of reactionists are black, for some reason, so why can't I? Well, it turns out that was a horrible choice, resulting in a horrible video that was awfully received, making him look even more retarded in the process. Even more retarded when he was going to set himself on fire.
On fire.
Then, for some freaking reason, he makes the most out of place, out of nowhere video I've seen for quite some time.
I'd rather watch anything out there that's for people of my age or older than a show for 3 to 5 year olds.
He made a video calling the Thomas Tank Engine community pedos. Sadly, the video he made is deleted. If you want proof, just type in Tmossboss Thomas and you'll find every ounce of proof you need.
He's watching Thomas, I'm reading the paper. He's watching Thomas, I'm reading the paper. Suddenly, I'm watching Thomas. 2 years later, I'm a massive fan of Thomas.
Now, in all honesty, calling anyone a pedo without proof is the height of arrogance. Sure, you can have an opinion, but this was more like an opinion you take to the grave. Yet, Mr. Moss seemed to just yell it out to the world with no sense of common decency. People are allowed to enjoy whatever they want for whatever reason, in my opinion. As long as you're not violating any laws, I say go right ahead. Just because there's a huge adult fanbase for Thomas the Tank Engine doesn't necessarily mean a kernel of pedos is being formed. Much like the whole brony thing, there are people that enjoy that type of content, no matter how weird or inappropriate it may seem. You can't just base it off of your own personal preferences, especially something as serious as a pedo allegation against an entire community. Am I saying that's impossible? No, but you might as well be walking into a furry convention and call all of them gay. You're basically lumping them all in the same category. There were multiple better and smarter ways he could have approached this. He could have made it a discussion and inserted it as more of a question than a 100% fact in his video. He could have had a more delicate tone and clearly stated his reasoning for disliking the show than just blatantly saying everyone who watches it is inferior. Or he couldn't have just made the video at all. Also, here's a pro tip. If you're going to review or critique a show, you may want to watch some of it first. We all know how the world works. A stupid man makes it funny, everyone laughs, points at him, the earth keeps turning. But what is it about Mr. Moss that keeps everyone so engaged, so engrossed in his sage-like wisdom? Well, it's not a very hard thing to comprehend. People like debunking other people, particularly arguments that make no sense. It's just something about listening to the ravings of a lunatic and the efforts of wanting to prove him wrong, constantly saying how everyone's a hater just because they don't agree with whatever Cthulhu-esque rituals he's performing with his laundry. Doesn't matter if you complain about the auto quality or the way he stutters every 5 seconds. If you don't sit down and appreciate what you got, well, you might as well be Satan, because that means you were never a fan to begin with. The haters giving criticism aren't haters at all. They're just people wanting to see his content improve. Now it's more on the verge of everyone wanting to see his channel burned to the ground. After the ramblings and talks of a crazy person, everyone under the sun started viewing Tmossboss, and it was at this point everyone started making videos on him. Jar, Brad, Reed, Shiny Piece,
I bully bullies.
list goes on. I could sit here and go through each video saying how they handled him, but I think it's better if I give an example of what happened. Now, you'd think after so many videos accusing Mr. Moss of being a hypocrite, an idiot, and the best example of how not to run your YouTube channel, any sane, rational person would try to improve, take his channel in a new direction, you know? Or get in touch with these individuals and ask them how he can improve and get some advice on how they can make their reaction videos more tolerable. Well, with Tmossboss, all rationality is thrown out the freaking window because apparently everyone on planet Earth is conspiring against him. This isn't exactly healthy behavior. I mean, after all of them are basically telling you to do the exact same thing, with each response you're giving them being more and more idiotic and more hateful. Making a million videos responding to the same video you already responded to and repeating your points while also saying you don't care about the person is a bit on the nose of showing you actually do care and are lying about the whole thing. So many haters! It's no secret that Tmossboss is, well, special. So special, in fact, that he seems to emanate a special field around him that causes everyone else that watches his videos to feel special themselves, regardless of how far away they are from him. So much so, in fact, it's as if the words he speaks are slurs from Cthulhu himself.
I don't care what happens. You know, that's what I had did today. There's a lot of people that I unblocked, so I unblocked everybody.
But whenever someone reaches out to him and tries to help him, he just kind of takes it as if they just threatened to kill his family. Since every response he's made was a hateful-filled, tacky response saying no, and branding all of them haters simply because they had an avatar and didn't use their real faces, while simultaneously making fun of the people who actually showed their faces and calling them random Disney characters for some reason. Tmossboss's favorite words is positivity, because that's what his channel promotes apparently. Would a positive channel have you tell everyone you're setting yourself on fire when you hit your goal? Doesn't sound very positive to me. Sounds like you're kind of crazy.
On fire.
So he says his channel is about positivity, as if Barney the Dinosaur will emerge from your computer and sing a song about how all races should get along and the world becomes love itself or something. He treats it as if it's just the thing that happens. Just you say the word positive, you get positive. Where people just forget things and will somehow bring about a new age. Sorry, Tmossboss, that's not how positivity works. Here's the thing: negative and positivity need a balance. Lean too much on the other side and things start getting weird. Lean on positivity too much and you'll be a weirdo who keeps looking at everything through stained glass. Be too negative and you'll just be a mopey nobody who constantly raves about how everything is pointless, saying how even the joyous of occasions can constantly lead to disaster.
That's some good weed.
The funny thing is, each can influence the other. Tell someone they can't pass a test, try to prove you wrong. Tell someone that new video game is super cool and good, only for that person that you told to be disappointed in how actually crappy the game is. So to simply dismiss criticism for the sake of it being negative is stupid. Sometimes hearing negative things is the best course of action. After all, it's the possible negative outcomes that help us strive not to make mistakes. If nothing had any consequence behind it, we would just make mistakes all the time. If I make an F in class, I'll fail the course. Hey, I don't want to have an F. I want to study and do good. If I accidentally drop my baby off this building, it will die. So I'm going to do everything in my power to keep that from happening and stay away from edges. It's the same for videos. I probably shouldn't upload that video of me doing blackface while wearing a Nazi uniform. everyone will hate it. I should upload that video of me superheating blades on a fidget spinner and cut a box. Everyone will love it. Pretty simple logic. Of course, Tmossboss isn't unrealistically positive, but he seems to have a boundary. He's aware of the things happening and acknowledges them, but he simply dismisses them since it's negative. If he didn't want any negativity in his life, he would have quit by now, so I'm having trouble figuring out where he stands. Personally, I think he's just using negativity and positivity as an excuse to get out of actually handling the problem, but that's just me. He's kind of like an animal released in a new environment, doesn't really know what to do, sticks to the same tactics only to find himself cornered because those old tactics don't work anymore. Whether this whole positive and negative way of thinking is a way to adapt, it's doing very few favors for him. Remaining in this positive limelight will just continue to get worse for years to come. If he admits to his mistakes, and sincerely apologizes to everyone he's attempted to dox and insulted, then it is at least possible people will stop making videos on him and leaving hate comments. But for now, he keeps on adding more and more to the fire, while possibly on purpose to increase his popularity. Eventually, he'll do a video where he truly can't be forgiven, the mom mentality will kick in as well, and it will prove too much for even Tyler himself. But until that day comes, we will be watching as this truly rare specimen continues to live on in this world.